Hi everyone, welcome back. So this week I want to move a little bit into global commerce, the idea of economics run through IT, specifically the banking industry. We're going to talk about, move into a little bit how the internet affects market spaces as well, and not just technology itself. One of the big things that's happening today, which we're all kind of fluent with, is that global transfer in IT in the banking industry. Everybody has a system for online banking today. If you have not a system, it's I would think pretty much you're one of the only people who do not. I, for instance, use almost everything, especially off my iPhone. I do everything from iPay on when I'm buying a coffee at McDonald's with my iPhone. I just tap and go to online banking to pay all my bills, and my commerce is directly deposited, from my funds deposited into my accounts to bills are paid out automatically. I don't even have to think about it anymore. The problem in this is always the technology security in banking. And if we start thinking about this and worms and Trojan worms and what could happen to the banking industry alone, just to stop us down in our country. Say one piece was done in one organization where banking was stopped, and all the disbursements for the week for all employees. Say you're working for Middle Georgia State University or one of the other universities in Georgia or anywhere in the country, and banking totally was stopped. What would happen to the local commerce in the area? Everybody depends on that Friday paycheck to pay your bills, pay your car payment, buy gas to get to work, pay your food, give your children money to go to a after school program. What would happen? Local banks would have to actually start a process of giving loans out. We saw this recently in Pennsylvania when there was a shutdown and the government checks weren't issued. State police officers who were out to serve and protect were not able to do their job. They didn't have money to pay their bills. They couldn't physically get to work. Banks ended up having to give immediate loans to police officers to secure the police state and make sure the Commonwealth is secure so that individuals could get to work. We have to think about these cases on repudiation and replication and always authentication. When you're looking at these devices, especially mobile devices today, they can easily be swapped and copied. It doesn't take much today for a reader to be able to install it inside of anywhere, any position. Your data is an open port internet site. When you're going through, say, a mall, someone could grab your information. If you're on the banking website, you could be grabbed. Say we come back. Let's take out for a second, and we'll look at a commerce site. Here's one that I use, First Commonwealth Bank. It's located in Pennsylvania. Even though I'm in Georgia today, I can do anything that I want. I can log into my account instantly. It brings up everything that I need. I'm not going to log in, of course, sorry. But I can go right into my account, pay bills, do anything I need to do. I can even apply for loans. I can change solutions of what I'm doing myself. I can work with one of my clients off of this. You can even start your own personal banking and business accounts right here online today. You can do this on your phone as well. One of the most interesting things today is these Apple Pay, applications to where you have an NFC reader to anywhere you go. Anyone can use these. As an example, I have a cousin who has a small son. When I was a kid, I used to have a business of cutting grass. I would go around and I'd have to wait for the person to pull out the $10 bill to pay me every week, or I'd go to their door and knock, go to their door and knock, go to their door and knock, and have to wait. And they'd answer and say, I don't have any cash, or I can't pay you, or blah, blah, blah. Well, today, my cousin's son, we set up a system for e-commerce using one of these, to where all he has to do is he goes over and he gives the people, and they tap the phone, and boom, gets the money right to his account. He's also set up a pretty cool system to where he uses online payments, where he can send the bills directly to any of his clients through email, and they can pay him back through one of the e-commerce sites. It's pretty interesting. He's actually taking care of my farm for me right now, and I pay him when he sends me a digital bill. He sends me a picture of the yard cut, the shrubbery done, all the work is done and complete. I approve it, I pay the bill, it deposits directly into his checking account. An amazing thing for a 13-year-old boy to have. The Apple Pay is all changing today, and this is on all smartphones. Of course, I love the new applications that are now coming out on the phones. I'm looking into one of these myself, but the way I lose my phone and the way I lose my watch, I really don't know if it's a smart idea for me. Another asset is the e-commerce. I use Fidelity. I brought up my account in here in situation just to show you how I can look and monitor everything I'm doing, everything I'm invested in. I can look at and see plus minus real time what's happening on Wall Street, which is incredible. I can also go in and make trades, which I'm not going to do that because I don't want any of my account numbers shown, sorry. But I can go into my portfolio. I can actually look at the positions each one's in. I can trade and I can transfer immediately. I can even take cash out and have it sent to my other banking account in First Commonwealth back in Pennsylvania and manage any of my bills from here as well. The world is changing. It's interesting, yes. We always have to think of that security, that issue of how we're going to protect all this. E-commerce is one of the largest things that we're doing. It comes from the smallest person, from a boy cutting grass to a global system of education work to any company and organization like IBM, who's worldwide in every single country with employees all over the world that are all using and sharing these applications. If any one of these breaks down, it takes a lot of work to get it back up. Protecting this is even more of an investment for any company. Let's move a little bit ahead. Think about loans today. When's the last time you went and applied for a loan for a car? How did you do it? Did you go into the bank? Did you sign the paperwork? Did you sit there for hours with the salesman at the Toyota dealer or wherever you got this? Recently, I was looking at a purchase for a house. And when we did this, I was interested because I saw the person who was buying my home did the whole application on her phone. She went through Quicken Loans and an app that she downloaded and quickly was able to upload all of her information, request a loan, and within minutes was able to be approved for a loan and made an offer on our home. Was able to provide me instantaneous proof as well of loanability. Very different in the world today of how mobile devices and applications are doing this. It works into the IT security issues, though we have to think about consciously with the virtual reality of actually on-site applications. At any time someone could attack this. Now that person's device could be attacked, which could worm into my account if they're transferring into mine. Think about the idea of grass cutting again. If my cousin's son gets attacked and he has my account attached somehow, he can worm into all of my accounts. Or vice versa, someone else could. I'll give you another example of how interesting the world is today on being secretive and interesting being protecting your data. Not too long ago, and this was about 3 years ago at Christmas time, I went to go pay for all my Christmas gifts. It was early December, around December 5th, I think it was, and I used my ATM card. It came up as invalid sources, no funds. I tried my credit card, no funds. I tried another credit card, no funds. I went to my backup ATM, which is a second checking account I have, which I hardly ever use, to try to pay. No funds available. I went to the authorities, they couldn't help me. I went to the bank, they told me I spent everything. They even showed me where I drove, which I never drove. Here, someone had hijacked my information, drove across the country, and was over in New Jersey buying material and ran my accounts out. What I found out was through mail fraud, they were able to get my information. How does this happen? You're saying, oh my, I want to show you how quick a little demonstration thieves that were a lot smarter than you and I in most cases were able to steal my identity and all my money. Let's go back and I'm going to pop over and I'm going to open up a new screen and I'm going to go to U.S. Postal Services, mail transfer. Just like we're going to move. Oh, look, okay. U.S. address change. We'll pull this up. Step 1, your old address. Road, I put it in. And I'm going to put down my new address. We'll just say, I own it. From this quick, I was able to set up here where I'm doing it, my name, right? You guys know my phone, so you can always reach me. Email. Boom. Permanent. Click to submit. Oh, when do I want it? Yeah, I want it tomorrow. So I click to submit. I hereby affirm the person who appears in this form states that he or she is a person in executive garden authorized blah blah blah. The TSO agreement here. How do they know it's me? How do they know that I'm doing this? I just clicked for my family, so everybody who lives in my house is now forwarded to. This is how people did it to steal my identity. They did this, and at the time, my bank was still sending the old-fashioned, you got it, statements to my house. My credit card companies were all sending my bill. My Apple Pay was coming to my house along with my payment for my computer. Everything was forwarded within minutes using United States Postal Service. They had every account number within 1 week that I have in my life, including my checking, my credit cards, and they were able to steal everything I had. Amazing how commerce can change. Think about this. What if we did this and we changed it from President Obama to your house? Just think about how much power you could have simply by using a postal exchange. How would they know it's not us? How would they know it's not President Obama, his wife? Think about what world implications this could have on us today, and how this could change the industry and how we see things and do things and how commerce is actually created and done. Today, there's a lot of information blocking in the markets. Let's kind of reverse this. China is the number one suppressor on censorship of its people, along with North Korea. They have a policy that prohibits subversive state powers. In other words, any information that they deem is against the state or their own trade or their own abilities to have commerce inside and kept inside China can be stopped. They will stop your IP address, immediately shut down your internet, immediately shut down anything you're doing. Think about how this influences the rice farmers. Now, you don't see them and think about them as being on the internet, correct? But there's actual traders of rice and how they control and flux this rice trade around the world. What does this mean for commerce for today? If they influence one thing, such as how the price of rice, what's going to happen with shipping? What if they don't ship out rice anymore? Think about how many U.S. companies are using rice in different products from China. If that's influenced in 1 minute, the entire world of e-commerce trade could be influenced by a single click of one button, one stoppage, one censorship from one company. Amazing. Korea and Malaysia are two of the countries out there that have very stringent national security laws. They actually make it a criminal offense if you try to express any support for North Korea, for example, in South Korea, and they limit any global market space sharing. Crazy, right? Think about it today. How many professors do you know that's from Korea in this country? A few. How do they work? How would they communicate back with their families if they're suppressed in this manner? If something's stopped from their family members coming out because they think they might be expressing something like a Christmas card or a holiday, whatever they celebrate, that they want to share something, a birthday, and maybe they're sharing a gift. Maybe they do it through e-commerce. They could actually shut down everything the family's doing, the people are doing. If they're doing this to individuals, what do you think they're doing to organizations in world trade? Malaysia's Bill of Guarantees was directly influenced by Pirate Bay in 2011. They started blocking file sharing episodes. Some of this is good and some of this is bad, but think about how this is going to influence open code, source that we have today. It's going to deplete the ability for applications to grow and be developed in any of these foreign markets. It's going to stop any foreign trade with code. They're also going to shut down IP address for anybody who violates this information sharing, which is another form of commerce stoppage. Saudi Arabia, Algeria, and Yemen. They're not only looking to do this internally, but they're also making a Sunni web. They're looking to make their own web to get off the World Wide Web, to control information from each one of their countries. They want to block any exterior trade from coming in, any open source code, any source of sharing. They want to block all e-commerce from outside of their union. If they start blocking e-banking, what's going to happen today? How are we going to be able to influence our stake in the world market? Think about oil and the state of it right now, and how any influence in oil changes everything in our industries today, from manufacturing to shipping to developing products to you getting to work. Think about how it influences just communications abilities, transfer of transit. Do you take the bus? What happens if the bus becomes, instead of $1 to $2 a ride, to $50 a ride overnight? This power could happen from information technology being shut down in world markets to control these different aspects. If they start blocking e-commerce and world trade goes down, everyone will suffer. Iran's Halal Internet is another one to look at. It's not one that's as large, but it's interesting because they have the idea of IP address blocking. They directly will selectively block anyone inside of their domain. They will stop it all. They're calling it a clean net, and they're trying to get all Muslim countries to follow this. Again, we'd be looking at Saudi Arabia and Yemen, and again influencing world trade on oil. They even went as far as making the Mirror. It's kind of a YouTube-like site that only does what they allow, which is positive messages about Iran's government. There's some interesting things that happened in 19 with the world trade, if we think about this. The Ronaldson effect that happened a little while ago started a whole wave of payphone transmissions because of this idea. The only way they could get free trade out was if you bought one of these little cheap throwaway phones or were able to text back and forth. They started texting to pay bill applications because of this. A lot of commerce and organizations knew this and built this effect into it. A lot of you will get Discover cards. My Discover card texts me my bill, and it texts me a methodology to text back a payment. Pretty interesting. That grew out of this commerce problem. The World Trade Organization, WTO, has policies on actual property and intellectual property right inside all of its treaties. It started back in 1996. These internet sites are creating what's called virtual safe havens for pirates. As an example, a really big one back in 2009, $3.5 billion in music releases were shared and stolen and shared inside one of these domains. Think about that. So this is just music files being pirated and shared and released free inside these sites, which has no protection from the World Intellectual Property Rights Organization Treaty. What could happen if they stole your code? Interesting. This sets up a whole new world of digital espionage and sabotage. They could actually be going in and taking contracts, lying on contract applications and sending in false contracts for you. How would you ever know? How would you stop this? They could look at trade secrets. They could disclose trade secrets of any company. Menasha Corporation makes cardboard. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but cardboard is a very big secret of business. The whole manufacturing process and how they strengthen cardboard or how they make corrugated cardboard is very, very protected. It's not a large industry, which makes it even more secretive. Menasha does so much to hide all of their data and all their infrastructure trade secrets that they don't allow anyone inside any of their buildings to videotape, to camera, or to sell any information that comes out of there. None of their cardboard ever has their name on it either. Everything they do is to try to protect everything that they own, their trade secrets. We look back through history, that Trojan horse development idea came out of the virtual espionage idea. So did the Stringent Worm and the Flame in 2012. These are some of the biggest names. One of the reasons that they were used, which is said possibly the CIA or someone else may have used this and created this to try to stop Iran's nuclear enrichment program. The worm actually went inside, attacked a centrifuge, spun it wild. It stopped alarms from being sounded, so nobody knew there was a problem. This is interesting because it's kind of a war talk, which we'll talk about soon in our next lecture. But more importantly, what would happen if this started being spread into the banking industry? Think about Wall Street. If they actually sent one of these and deployed them and it got through to the Wall Street markets. Remember back when I was showing you my abilities to trade and do everything online? What would that do tomorrow? How would that influence everything from the sale of shoes to toilet paper to rice? It's undescribable. Global economics and IT protection is one of the biggest mainstays today. That's why we're learning so much about security and issues and thinking about these externalities and the costs of one person doing something wrong to another. Think about the lesson I learned, how someone was able to change my address and ruin my Christmas. What if they got into my trades? What if they got into all of our trades? What if they shut down your parents' 401ks? They were no longer able to retire. They lose everything in a minute. What if they took out the state of Pennsylvania, the state of Georgia, California's entire banking industry? If it came from California, we might not have any food tomorrow. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope this brought a little bit of thought-provoking ideas on how you can stream it into one of your papers or something you're doing right now. Maybe you want to question one of your coding professors about what you could do to protect your banking, your mobile banking even more. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Remember, get out there in the sunshine just a little bit. Ride a bike. Go for a swim. Walk your dog. Do something good for yourself. Have a great day, everyone.